And with that 226 number in mind, let's bring in the head football coach at BYU, Kalani Sitake, back to Studio B. What do you have planned for the next 226 days, Coach?
Just a lot of work, yeah. It's coming up quickly, and we're excited for the game, and so excited to open up the season in LeVar Edwards Stadium and against our rivals. I think we got some payback in mind, so hopefully we get that done. And I'm really excited heading to spring ball, and after we're done recruiting. But Happy New Year to you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. 2019.
Absolutely.
I don't know, when do you stop saying Happy New Year? I don't know at what point.
I stopped about a week ago.
So I'm way late.
That's okay. It's the first time we've seen you.
I just really want it to be a great year. So Happy New Year, everyone.
As do we.
It's good. I think you can express a New Year through the month of January. If you went to February, like, hey, Happy New Year.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It's February.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it until January 31st.
You're good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's been 3 or 4 weeks since we talked to you, but lots to discuss. The news of Ryan Pugh taking the OC job at Troy. What's your reaction to that? We did read a quote from you, but an opportunity for Ryan.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Ryan, and he's an amazing coach and great person. He did a great job for us for a year. I wish we had him longer, but it's always good when you have coaches that move on to great opportunities. And I've said it before, I think we have a lot of future head coaches on our staff, and I know that they all aspire to be coordinators and head coaches at some point. And if they're getting these opportunities, that's a good sign for the program.
BYU football coach Kalani Sitake back on BYU Sports Nation. What's the one bit of advice that you gave to Ryan or you will give to Ryan as he takes on this new bigger role with Troy?
Well, I'm a guy that takes a lot of notes. So I told him to take a lot of notes, but I think he's there's some things that you just kind of have to. You can warn them. It's like having children. You just don't know until you have them, and you can take all the classes, and then it's just like you're sitting there changing a diaper, and it just hit you that it's so different. And then a couple kids later, you're just used to them picking up Cheez-Its off the ground and giving it to them to eat again, instead of throwing them away. So it's the same way. I think that he's just going to be baptism by fire a little bit, but I think for him, he's got all the background and the makings of a great coach. His father's a coach, and the training that he's had a great mentor in Jeff Grimes, and played a national championship program. So he's got the genealogy for it, and I think he'll do a great job at Troy.
Signing day is coming up, the part 2, because we had the early signing day in December, on February 6th. What's the focus at this point for that day?
I don't know if we have a lot of holes right now to fill. I know that we, for us, it's just to get the right fit and the guys that belong in our system that would help our team be better. And so, and that's just not only on the football field. We have to look at a lot of different parts of their life and see what they can bring to the program. And not everyone is given the promise of coming in as a newcomer and being a starter right away. But what we can promise them is an opportunity to compete, and we will play the best. I think we've played a lot of freshmen this last year, and those freshmen now are going to be sophomores, and they're so it's a smaller class than what we've had in the past because of the returning players. But I feel really comfortable with our team going forward from here. But anything that we can add helps sweeten the deal and gets us better and provides more depth and more competition.
There is nothing quite like managing the fluidity of scholarship crunches and missions and transfers and doing that for, essentially like a 7 or 8 year window. That is crazy. Dave Rose deals with it. You deal with it. All of the coaches here deal with it. But, basketball and football, it's super complicated at times. So how do you handle that when you find out guys are transferring and you're trying to figure out, okay, who has scholarships and who doesn't?
Well, I think the point is to communicate with your players. And we've been transfers and attrition have been part of football programs for years. And this is just the first year that we've had the transfer portal, which I agree with. I've mentioned before that I'm all about releasing players when they want to transfer, and this allows them that opportunity. But now it also allows them to put themselves out there to be recruited, and I think that gives them other options to choose from. In the past, you've had to just kind of go with your connections, and no one really knew about if someone was transferring or not. So this one gives them an opportunity to get recruited again and probably fill a need. And most guys transfer for a variety of reasons, and they're not limited to one. One is that they want more playing time. That's probably the most common. And then another is that the academics here is hard and they can't handle it. Or another one is that they can't live the lifestyle. And I think for most of our guys, it's been the playing time issue, and we've had great communication as a coaching staff with our players. None of it's been a negative. We really want them to go and do well and have fun and have a great experience. And in the meantime, we were allowed to bring new guys and award scholarships to walk-ons, and that's just part of it. But I think it's just kind of out in the open right now. People going to social media and kind of broadcasting that they're going on the transfer portal, which is really good for the kids and really good for college football.
I wish I could have done that on my mission. Like, I don't really like my companion. I am on the transfer portal. I want a new
I don't like this area.
I want a new area and a new companion. Yeah, that would have been really nice. We talked in the opening segment about the number one FBS jump by this team in pass defense by quarterback rating, which was somewhat surprising given you played 4 freshmen at corner. You had some experience behind them. But what went into that improvement?
Well, I think the major deal had to be with the preparation and the coaching that they got from Aaron Roderick and Jeff Grimes. And
I mean, passive defense.
Oh, passing defense.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought, well, the passing defense, in the passing offense, we had great efficiency, but in passing defense, there's some guys that we brought in that got used to it. I mean, Corbin was a little bit more comfortable playing football. We moved positions and had guys try different places, like Sione Takitaki moving to the middle linebacker position, where I think it suited him better for his talents.
That was a win.
Yeah,
and
just,
Fred Warner model.
Yeah, and we've had to deal with injuries at the linebacker position and other positions as well. And I thought that the coaches, Coach Tuyaki and Ed Lamb and Preston Hadley and Gennaro Guilford, did a great job of managing that. And I think if you look at the DBs, we had a lot of experience there with Daingon Woluku. We played him at corner at times, and we played Mike Shelton at nickel and safety and corner. So we were able to move guys around and utilize our best guys on the field for whatever scheme we were facing. And I have to give a lot of credit to the players and the versatility, but also our coaches on defensive side did a great job at devising a scheme and teaching the fundamentals and the technique of the scheme to execute and have a great outcome.
You've clearly gone through the season with a fine-tooth comb in the moment and now after the fact as you review what the team did well, what you didn't do so well. So what other improvements let's start there. What other improvements besides the pass efficiency defense did really jump off the page to you as the head coach?
Well, I thought in the games that we tackled better, we were. I mean, in college football, it's hard to give extra chances to people. So the fundamentals of the game is most important for us. Always focusing on the technique, and for us is making sure that we minimize gains by an offense, but. And that's across the board from offense, defense, and special teams. It's the technique and the fundamentals of the game. It goes back to the basics, And so we've had time in our practices and throughout the year to really focus on the fundamentals of the game. And it's crazy, but when you go back to the basics, it makes it a lot easier and a lot more simple, and you can execute better. So I'd have to say making that move to focus on the little things matters the most for us.
Now that you're not focusing on a game and the season's over, how'd you feel about the 2018 BYU football season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody wants to have a great year, and I thought from what we've seen and the way we're trending, I was really pleased, And we'd love to have those close games back again. I can name 4 right away that you'd wish you'd have a different outcome, and then the other ones that was NIU, Boise, Utah, and the Cal game, where we were literally one play away from winning. And then on the other two, the Utah State and Washington game, I felt like you got away from us after halftime. And the focus now is just to complete the 60 minutes on the football field, and take advantage of every second that we have on the field. And I think as we do that, the 4 parts of being a football player at BYU is handling the football part and the scheme, the technique, but also secondly handling the weight room and getting bigger and stronger and healthier. And then the third part is handle the academics and make sure that you're eligible and doing well in school and competing in the classroom, and also living the lifestyle with the honor code and the lifestyle that we expect our guys to do. I think if we do all 4 of those, we'll do well on the football field.
BYU football coach Kalani Sitake in Studio B, part of BYU Sports Nation. You're no stranger to dual sport athletes. And we talked about Matt Bushman, your star tight end. He kind of dipped his foot in the pool with baseball. Corbin Kafusi has done the same thing. Bronson Kafusi did it before you got here, and a number of others. What do you think about Jaren Hall and the prospect of him playing baseball and how it might impact his football career?
Well, I think that's something that when we recruited Jaren out of high school, we knew that he was a multi-sport athlete, and we knew that baseball was something that he was really interested in, and it was the fact that how we handled Matt Bushman in his transition when he got from Mission that was really good for him to see that he could possibly play both. As I sat in his home, I promised him that I would let him do that. And you know, from what we have said as a football team, I think he's going to have to sacrifice something. You know, but with NCAA, you're only allowed a certain amount of hours that are mandatory. But then there's also a lot of you know, volunteer hours that he can put in as far as learning the scheme and things like that. But I don't want to overwhelm him. But he's got all the skills to play both. Not a lot of people can do that. He can, and he can play quarterback. And he had a great year as far as his backup role as a quarterback for Zach, you know, and seeing some of the things that he's done. He's really bright and understands the game. So he's further ahead than people think. And I think he's going to be able to handle it really well. And I think it's important that he is able to go out and play baseball and be, you know, feel like he can do both sports 100%. I think Coach Littlewood wants him on the team, and so we'll just keep working with him. But from what I hear, he's going to be able to participate in spring and do all the football stuff. And I don't know if he'll have time for a social life after this.
Something you said. Something has to be
Is that
sacrificed.
the sacrifice?
Perhaps it's the social life.
And I'm always going to recruit. I'm always going to let guys play multi-sport. You know, here at BYU, that's something I have to promote in recruiting. But at the same time, I'm looking at these volleyball guys. They'd be great on PAT field goal block. Don't you think they can
Davide
sky?
Gardini, 6'9".
Yeah, just get four of them out there and jump and
go.
block. Who can make a kick with those guys blocking it?
That was the Chad Lewis
Just
idea,
a plug
right?
for
The high
recruiting.
jumper?
Yeah.
If
Preferred walk-on status for special teams.
yeah, exactly. If Jaren Hall did play baseball and he was kind of a regular, would he be able to miss spring ball practice, or would you like him to be in practice and then play the games around that? Maybe you figure that out later, but
Well, I mean, baseball's in season, you know, and we have 15 practices in spring that we can kind of work with. And so it's not like he's going to need to be there all those days. You know, we usually practice 3 or 4 days a week. And so there's some opportunities for him to do both. And I think we've worked it out with Coach Littlewood and with the baseball program, but they're in season. And whatever Jaren needs to do to feel happy, that's all I care about. And so he'll have. It's not like baseball goes until August, you know. So he'll play baseball. I want him to give it all he's got for that sport and for that team, and we'll see what happens afterwards. But I think there's plenty of time for him to prepare and be a quarterback and compete at the quarterback position as well.
Coach, there's a good chance we could have multiple former BYU football players in the Super Bowl. Squaring off. There are 3 of the 4 teams remaining in the NFL playoffs. Taysom Hill and the Saints, Kyle Van Noy and the Patriots, Daniel Sorensen and the Chiefs, and, of course, the ties to Andy Reid, the head coach of the Chiefs. What do you think of the Cougars in the NFL playing this late into the season and being in that added limelight?
Well, it's a lot of fun. And those guys keep in touch with our program, and they are constantly communicating with our players. And so our guys are really excited. It's just a lot of fun. I mean, you're talking to a guy that cheered for the 49ers just because they had BYU football players on their team. So our guys are the same way, and I know our fans. I talked to Kyle Van Noy when we were out there for the New England, when we were playing UMass in their stadium, and he was just talking about how the BYU fans are just all over the place. When he goes to different venues and they're playing on the road, there's fans in different uniforms, but they're cheering for him. You know, even though he's on an away game, but that's just the wonderful part about being part of Cougar Nation, that they're everywhere, and it's awesome to be part of it. I know those guys in the NFL enjoy it.
Are you still true to the 49ers, even though your dad is a diehard Oakland Raiders fan?
Yeah, it's just because of that.
when they're in Vegas, your
Well,
dad's
and Fred
gonna be-
Warner, too. He
Right.
makes the deal better.
Yeah, sure.
Your
Sorry.
dad's going to be tripping down to Vegas a lot when they're down, when the Raiders are down there, right?
Yeah, hopefully they don't get better than the Niners. The Niners are on the way up.
Kalani, it's great to talk to you. We appreciate the insight into the 2018 season, and we're clearly excited 226 days away from BYU and Utah.
And we'll see you signing day.
Let's do it, yeah.
We have a
It's
2-hour
coming
show
up.
that day. We're excited.
Be a lot of fun. Thank you. Go Cougs.
Thanks.
Yes.